Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Koralik from Figured Out Productions. The following video is a video of some kind, and I hope you enjoy it.
Hey guys, it's Adam here, and welcome to PlayLoad. This is the last PlayLoad of the year, the last PlayLoad of the decade. This is time to talk about all my video game pickups for the month of December 2019. Kind of a strange month because, honestly, gonna be a short video. There's not a whole lot of stuff this time. One of the items I really wanted to show you didn't quite make it here yet. I assume it'll come like in a day or so, which is unfortunate. And then there was another really big item which showed up, but it was defective, had to be returned, and we'll talk about that one another time. So all we have is what you see, which was a couple of mystery items and stuff, because even though my birthday happened this month, the holidays came by, I really didn't get a whole lot of stuff because it just, I don't know, I've picked up so much stuff, especially from Japan over the last couple of months, it was just kind of like, let's tone it down. But that said, there still is some stuff here, and one thing that I'm going to be giving away as well, so stick around for that. But we'll just start off with the beginning here. One thing you guys already saw, but it does bear mention. I got a Sega Genesis Mini, which I actually keep back here now. Sega sent me one of these for review. I assume you can see it from that angle. If not, I'll show you a close-up. I also got the Tower of Power with it. So very cool to have that, but I'm still going to play the Genesis as, you know, the Genesis, like, you know, the original authentic hardware. But I love the Mini just because of the greatness of it being a display piece like that. I think it's just really cool. It ended up replacing, I had a GameCube controller there that I did a video on years ago from a company called Controller Chaos. Has my name on it and stuff, custom design. I had to move that out of there. I still have it, of course. But this, I decided that's just a cool display piece right there with, you know, Shenmue being signed and all that stuff. I think it's really neat. But that one out of the way, let's get to the newer things. Now, first and foremost, the first thing I got is actually a remnant of my old Best Buy Gamers Club Unlocked membership. For those who don't know or don't remember, Best Buy, which is still an American retail outlet, had this program called Gamers Club Unlocked, and basically what you would do is you would sign up for it, you'd pay $30, and you'd get a membership for 2 years, and for 2 years you would get 20% off of every game. Brand new, didn't matter what the price was, you 20% off of that game. And that was awesome. Unfortunately, they were hemorrhaging money doing that, which is not surprising, so they discontinued it. But before my membership expired, I went in and just kind of pre-ordered everything that even remotely interested me, knowing full well I could cancel the pre-orders if I wanted to. In this case, this is just a remnant of that. This is Shovel Knight Treasure Trove for the Nintendo Switch. I'm sure a lot of you guys know all about this. I like the first Shovel Knight, so definitely wanted to go ahead and check this one out as well. But yeah, I haven't even opened it yet, but yes, I do have it, so very cool to have that. Now, at one point during this month, I headed out to a bookstore, Half Price Books, and I've kind of stopped shopping at Half Price Books just because the secret's out. Usually a lot of people know what they are, and they're kind of like the American version of a book off. And as a result, like, there's not that much good stuff in those things anymore. But I was in one, and I ended up actually finding some stuff I wanted. I was kind of surprised, and they had one of those, like, you know, holiday sales going on, so it was like everything's like 20% off, whatever, and I was just like, yeah, all right, okay, cool, I'm on board. So I ended up finding a few things. For the original Xbox, is a console that I'm trying to get a full set of. I still have quite a whale. It's a whale of a project. I still have quite a ways to go, but these are the ones I managed to find. NBA Ballers Phenom featuring Chauncey Billups by Midway. Everything about this is old. Pac-Man World 3, Tony Hawk's Project 8, and finally Castlevania Curse of Darkness. These were all there. And the other thing that they had, which was kind of surprising, was a Wii U game that I needed. The same with the Wii U. I want a full set. With the Wii U, though, I'm like really close. At this point, I think I only have 2 games left for it that I still need to find. This is Deus Ex Human Revolution Director's Cut. This is by Square Enix. This is actually kind of an interesting remnant of what the Wii U was supposed to be. This is from the very early days. Like, this, I think, was a launch title, if not a launch title, like right within the launch window, because Square Enix and a bunch of other companies all jumped ship on the Wii U pretty quickly. But one of the initial ideas with the Wii U was, hey, this console is basically 7th gen hardware. It's essentially an Xbox 360, just more upgraded and has the tablet controller. Let's do something with that. And the idea was, let's take a bunch of the most popular games from the 360 or PS3 and bring them over to the Wii U and make them the definitive edition with, you know, extra content and all that stuff. And then somehow you could use the tablet thing, the gamepad, for additional integration to make the game experience more authentic. There's not a whole lot of games that ended up actually doing that. They were all like right there in the launch window, the one that did it. This is one of them. It even shows on the back like the additional features of the gamepad. It says the director's cut. It includes all this extra stuff, and that was the whole idea. So this is just a remnant of that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to finally being done with the Wii U set whenever I get the other two games. The next thing I got was donated to me by GG Retro Gaming. I've talked about them in the past. I'll have a link in the description. He hooked me up with Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage for the PS1. He had previously hooked me up with Spyro 1. I've talked about, you know, Spyro the Dragon was obviously a huge game when it came out on PS1, and I quite enjoyed it, but I never actually owned it until like this year when he actually just sent me a copy of it. And he was cool enough to eventually send me the sequel here, so thank you very much for doing that. If you guys can do me a solid, just check out the link in the description to GG Retro Gaming. There's a coupon code in there. You can save some money if you want to buy anything. It's an online retailer. He's based out of Sacramento, California, too. He's doing a lot on social media now, so you can see a lot of his stuff over there if you want. But yeah, thank you very much to GG Retro Gaming for hooking me up with that. Now, from here on out, this is just a bunch of just random items, basically. That's it for actual games. Well, that's not entirely true. One of these is a game, but random items, basically. This first one is from Ubisoft, hence all the Ubisoft logos on there. So I'm in the Ubisoft Influencer Program. I mean, if you've been watching my channel, you know that for a while. They've sent me to a lot of cool things over the years. And every holiday season, they send out some sort of little influencer gift bag. It's usually just one specific item. Like the first year, if I recall correctly, it was a pair of Ubisoft socks, which was just kind of funny. Called them Ubisocks. The year after that, I believe it was these like thermoses / water bottles. I still have all this stuff. And then the year after that, it was a bunch of blankets that had the Ubisoft logo on them. Last year, it was umbrellas with the Ubisoft logo. This year, it's this box, which contains something, obviously. What it actually contains is, I can only describe it as the adult version of a lunchbox. Or more accurately, it would be like a Japanese bento box kit. But here it is. It includes a card on the front. And the card is just from the Ubisoft America PR team. And it just says, like, you know, happy holidays from the Ubisoft San Francisco PR events and news teams. And it's just signed by a lot of the people who work there. And so thank you to them for that. But the box itself is just a bento box. So it's got this, like, gray rubber band thing on it. And you take that off, and it separates into pieces. The top layer looks, you know, like fake wood, but it's obviously plastic. It's got the Ubisoft logo on it. You remove that, and you have some cutlery underneath. And then you end up with these two separate containers. And each one of these containers is just an empty thing that you can put food in. You can microwave it, you can dishwash it, all that stuff. And yeah, there's really nothing more else to it. It's just kind of this odd thing that they decided to do. But yeah, and it says fuel your creativity on that card. So thank you very much to Ubisoft for doing that. They didn't have to for any reason, but they did nonetheless. So that's always cool. And yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know how much practical use I'll ever actually get out of it because I don't typically need lunch boxes. But at the same time, like, hey, now I have the option. I do travel a lot, so you never know. But yeah, let me wrap that back up there. So there you go, Ubisoft lunchbox. Put that off to the side. Now, I got a couple of extra packages here. These are both from Castlemania Games. Now, Castlemania Games, run by Ryan, he's an awesome guy, and he sends me stuff all the time to check out, to review, all that kind of stuff. So here is the latest items, and I'll show them both to you. First is this smaller package, which we're just going to go ahead and open up and take a look at. I already know what it is, but you don't, so that will be the surprise. Okay. Inside, we have the Brawler Gen gamepad for the Sega Genesis and Sega Saturn. Now, this might look slightly familiar. This is by Retro Fighters. It's a new controller that Retro Fighters has been doing a whole bunch of controllers for a lot of retro consoles. I actually really like their NES controller to the point where I replaced my NES controller with it. I think it's much better. Same with the N64 controller, actually. They also sent me, well, specifically Castlevania Games, Ryan did. He sent me the Sega Genesis Mini. I don't know why I almost called it Mega Drive Mini. I guess that would be appropriate too. Sega Genesis or Mega Drive Mini version of this, so I can actually use it on the device back there. But now this one is specifically for the actual Sega Genesis and also works on the Sega Saturn. So it's the same idea. It's the more a modernized version of a controller as we think of it, since basically the PS1, or well, the DualShock PS1 and Xbox 360 type of controller. Since then, our hands have changed. You know what I mean? Like, we've just kind of interpret controllers differently. So Retro Fighters is making an attempt to make these type of controllers for retro consoles, so that modern gaming feels can kind of go back to play retro stuff. At least that's kind of the idea. But yeah, so this is a new one. I obviously haven't used it; just came out of the box. But I'd be very interested to see how it actually performs and how I end up liking it. They even used. I'm just noticing that they actually included the thumbstick, which I guess makes sense because Saturn did actually use that in a handful of cases with the 3D pad, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I will check that out. Maybe I'll do. You guys tell me. I have this one, and I still have the Genesis Mini one. I could do reviews on like them together or something like that. You let me know what you think. Either way, thank you very much to Castlemania Games for hooking me up with that. And he also hooked me up with this. This is an additional game. It's a special one, and yeah, we'll take it out, and I'll talk more about it, because to be honest, the release of this thing is a little strange to me, and I don't entirely know what motivated it, but I did a little bit of background to try and find out some of the answers to that. But here we go. Opening up inside, we have a bunch of wrapping material, and then we have, oh, this thing is a lot smaller than the box presented itself as, which is actually nice. What we have is Metal Storm for the NES. So this is I believe the collector's edition of this. Yeah, the collector's edition of Metal Storm. Yeah, so here's my understanding of what this is. Metal Storm was a game that was released on the NES back in 1991. It did come out. In 1992, they re-released it in Japan, but they made a bunch of changes to it. They updated it, they added a story, they updated, did some bug fixes essentially. They made it a better game, but we never got that version until this year. This is that new Japanese version, updated and then still put into English. So what I'm saying is, well, that's awesome. And this is a collector's edition. It includes it includes a whole bunch of stuff. It's the game. It includes like a statue. Let's see. To commemorate this release, this Metal Storm edition includes Metal Storm 8-bit cartridge with dust cover compatible with original NES and retro-bit consoles, hard embossed collector's box to safely store all collectibles, collectible retail box to keep your cartridge in pristine condition, original Metal Storm art prints, exclusive double-sided poster, Retrobit limited edition enamel pin, numbered certificate of authenticity, full-color instruction manual with all information to enhance gameplay, and collector's figurine of M308 Gunner. While that's awesome, I still don't entirely know what motivated them to do this. And on top of that, I know there's a whole bunch of different versions of it. This is the, logically so, the Castlemania Games Edition. There is a Limited Run Games Edition, and there's a few other versions. There's a European version. There's a bunch of them. I believe it would this particular set, the Collector's Edition, was limited to 3,000 units. So I have the authenticity, card thing in there, so I guess we'll see what number I got. But yeah, strange that this exists, and I'm one to support indie scenes. I think it's really cool that stuff like this exists. I guess what I'm saying is not so much like how this happened, but like more like why. Like, who sat down and said, you know what? We got to pick that one game back. We need to bring that game. Don't entirely know, but either way, here it is. So it's got this cool outer slip thing. Nice. Take that off there. And then we've got, yeah, this big box, which is a nice box. And 308. First thing is this black cloth thing, and then under that we have the Gunner figure. If I can get that out of there. There you go. That's actually really neat. Then we've got this packaging for, there's the pins they were talking about. Yep. And then under all this, I presume, is the actual game. We've got our card, and we have our, oh yeah, that definitely looks like a straight-up NES game. The game itself is still sealed. It's the Galactic Blue version, which, like I said, makes sense because that was the version that Castlemania Games was distributing. Taking a look at the cards of authenticity, I have number 169 of 3,000, and includes a few extra cards there. That's actually really cool. That's awesome. And then it's got this cool like envelope that you can keep them all in and everything, which I'm going to do right now. So yeah, this is really neat. I look forward to checking out this game. I don't think I'll be doing like a review per se, because I don't usually do that, but if this interests you guys, you should check it out. It's, again, the link in the description to Castlemania Games. You can pick this up. You can pick up just the regular edition. You don't have to get the collector's edition unless you want to. But yeah, very cool to have that. So I'll move that out of the way, and we'll get back to talking about another collector's edition in just a second. But before we do that, we have just a couple of random little pieces of promo merch. So I did a trade with a buddy of mine who's also super into Shenmue and likes to pick up a whole bunch of just the random items out there, and he traded these to me. This is a PS4 Japanese promo copy piece of artwork. Basically, in Japan, this is when they were doing the pre-order cases. This is the artwork that would be inlaid in them. I saw this while I was over there, but I couldn't facilitate actually trading for a copy or getting a copy from the store or anything. This one looks like it was never even used because it's not bent at all. So yeah, I don't know exactly how he got that, but either way, cool that he did. So thank you very much. And the other one is a random poster for Shenmue the movie. One side shows that, and the other side just shows a bunch of information about the release. It's all in Japanese, so I can't read it. But yes, this was a thing. Shenmue the movie was a real thing. We would know it best from the Xbox version of Shenmue 2. It came with a disc 1, and that disc 1 was Shenmue the movie. I say this as a devout Shenmue fan. Shenmue the movie is unwatchable. It's very poorly done. I feel fair in judging that on a few different levels. First and foremost, I'm a very serious Shenmue fan, so I know that story backwards and forwards, at least based on the first game. And I don't think that it was a competent telling of that story. Secondly, as someone who likes how to record footage, like how to check out, like the video quality and all that stuff, they recorded the whole thing with composite cables, so it just looks like ass from the get-go. And then finally, as someone who's actually done his own video games to film adaptations on this channel, such as Jurassic Park the game by Telltale Studios, turned that into a movie called Jurassic Park 1.5, or Back to the Future the game I turned into Back to the Future 4 and 5. On this channel, you can see them, you can watch them. Back to the Future 4 is actually my highest viewed video ever, on this channel anyway. And so having that background, I can tell you that whoever cut Shenmue the movie did not do a good job. It's not a watchable film. It was, as far as I understand, the Western purpose of it was just to include so that they didn't have to port Shenmue 1 over to the Xbox. In Japan, this, from my understanding, this got an incredibly limited theatrical release for some reason. It's not watchable. I don't know why they would do that, but either way, yeah, it's a cool little piece of history for that particular release. Now, that's it for my actual pickups, yet there is one other item here, and like I said, we're going back to collector's stuff. This is a special item that I will be giving away to you, potentially. This comes from, you have to understand, earlier this month I went to Los Angeles to host a Shenmue 3 post-launch event. I was part of the team that got that in place. We hosted at a store called Game Realms in Burbank, California. We got most of the prominent English voice cast to be there, as well as some other actors who were in it in just small roles. And we also got the voice director of the game, and we just did a live Q&A for about an hour, which the whole video of that should exist. I think it's on James Reiner's channel. I think he uploaded the footage. And then there was an autograph session and all that sort of stuff that people could do. It was a great event. It was a lot of fun. And I was just the MC for the event as well, so I just introduced everybody and hosted it more or less. But while we were there, during the autograph session, a guy came around very much at the end. His name is Max, and hell of a nice guy. He showed up towards the end and then just kind of called me over. He's like, "Yo, Adam, hey, can I talk to you for a second?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, what's up?" And he just had a Shenmue 3 collector's edition, the one by Limited Run Games. He had it, and he asked me if I had one. I was like, "Yeah, of course I do." And he was like, "Oh, do you want another one?" And I was like, "No, I already have one. I don't need to buy another one." He's like, "No, I'll give it to you." I'm like, "It's an expensive set, man. You don't have to give me that. You don't have to do anything like that." And he was like, "No, I actually have 3 of them." And I was like, and then he was like, "I just don't know what to do with them." So long story short, he gave one to Corey Marshall, who was just thrilled by that. He also gave this one to me, but I told him I wasn't going to keep it. What I ended up deciding to do with it is I went around to all the other actors there, and I said, what's going on here is this dude just donated this. Max is an awesome guy. I would very much like all you guys to sign this, and we're going to give it away online. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So this is the Limited Run Games Collector's Edition of Shenmue 3, signed by the voice cast, or at least all the ones that were there. Making it the only Shenmue 3 Collector's Edition to be signed by this many of the voice cast. And I can tell you that firsthand because I know all those guys. And there weren't a lot of these made. nor were there a lot of these signed. So this includes the original limited run games card. It is not a sealed item because I had to unseal it to get them to sign it, logically so. But aside from that, it's brand new. It's never been opened or anything like that. My plan with this is half-baked at the moment. I wasn't planning to give one of these away because I've been doing other Shenmue giveaways and other giveaways in general. I will have something to announce about this, probably on Twitter, though stay tuned to like the YouTube subscription feed. I'll mention it there. But yeah, one of these, this particular one, will be given away to some lucky Shenmue fan. I just don't know the details of how yet. So I'll either announce it here or Instagram or something like that. So do me a favor. Go to my social media pages in the description of this video. Follow me on that stuff if you're at all interested in possibly winning this thing. And then when I have that plan in place, I will launch it. It may not be for a bit because I still have to kind of, I got stuff coming up in January that I'm busy with. So just letting you know, I'm not unaware of this. This thing will happen. Somebody will win this. But it'll be crazy. Hopefully that person really enjoys that because that's just awesome. But yeah, that will about do it. So if you guys can do me a favor, please like, comment, subscribe, and all that great stuff. Like I said, check out the social media stuff in the description for me, but also for Castlemania Games, as well as GG Retro Gaming. And I'd like to thank both of them. I'd also like to thank my buddy who did the trade with there, as well as Ubisoft for hooking me up with this. And I want to thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you all later.